It is another glorious day. It's been so nice for the past week or so, which has been such a lovely change from the cold and the wet and the dark. So I am absolutely loving this. The plants are unfortunately getting dry though, so it does mean that we need to keep on top of watering, but we have lots of water in the water butts, so yeah, it's all part of the process. So I'm gonna have a little check of all the seedlings, see what's going on, and then yeah, not really sure what else to do, but yeah, we're gonna check on the seedlings and give a little update. So first, these are the first radish that I sowed, and they have definitely grown. Absolutely chunky boys. I think I might be ready to potentially harvest one, because they say you're not supposed to leave them for too long, because the actual radish that you eat becomes woody, and therefore probably wouldn't be very nice to eat, but they are looking good. They have definitely perked up, so I'm really happy that I saved those from certain death. The new radish that I sowed the other day have all come up really nicely. They literally come up within hours, so the other day I looked at them, there was like 4, and then I looked a few hours later and there was about 20. So they are super fast growing, and they're certainly a really fun, satisfying thing if you're going to grow one thing, like one vegetable. I feel like radish are a really good option, because you get almost not instantaneous, but almost instant gratification, because you don't have to wait for very long for anything to start happening, and then they should be ready to harvest in about 3 to 6 weeks. So I'll be eating radish very soon. So yeah, good little plant for sure. These are the French breakfast ones, so they're long, like long and thin rather than the round ones. And we also have at least one sunflower in each of these pots. So these are the 2 which I collected from plants I grew last year. This one was a really yellow sunflower. It was like the most stereotypical sunflower I've ever seen, and it was beautiful. I've only got one very weedy little seed germinating so far. This one was my tallest sunflower, so I collected seeds from that one, and we've got 5 so far that have sprouted. And then these are the newest. I actually bought these seeds. It's ginger nuts, and I've got 5 of those as well, and it looks like they've actually started to get little true leaves forming right in the center as well. Very tiny, but they are definitely there. So these guys will need some water because it is baking hot today, and hopefully I'll have some sunflowers as well for late summer, autumn time, which will be really lovely. We've also got some tomato plants. These are the ones that my mum grew. So this one has actually already got a flower right here, so that's exciting. And this one has also got a flower. Oh, it's got a few flowers actually. So we will be having some tomatoes. There are a few more indoors. They're a bit smaller, getting ready to grow up and come outside. And our wildflower troughs have gone absolutely nuts. I have no idea what these are, but they are huge. The whole pot could just be these 2, honestly. They are very big things, so excited to see what they turn into. We've got a bunch of cosmos in there, lots of other wildflower things, but until they actually come up, we don't know what they are. So it's a bit of a mystery as to what they'll look like, but it was a fun little project, and we've got one on the other side as well, so a little bit of symmetry This one hasn't grown up as much, so I don't think there's as many seeds in them, which probably is a good thing. But yeah, we'll see what comes up. Next, onto the greenhouse. These are not as good as the ones in front of the summer house. Nasturtiums doing absolutely nothing. Very disappointed. The cosmos, apricotta, very small, not as good as the other cosmos. Nothing in the courgettes. Incredibly disappointing. The basils, not too bad. Tiny peppers. I don't think they're gonna become pepper plants this year. They're just taking too long. And the echinaceas have done nothing. I'm thinking I maybe just need to direct sow some, and maybe they just don't like being in pots. I have no idea. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the basils are looking really nice and juicy. So I've got something growing in here, which is a good sign. And we come to the pepper that I bought from the garden centre, thinking I would have a pepper plant. It has been eaten and scorched. It is not looking good. I figured I would do some houseplant maintenance. They've been severely neglected for a while, for various reasons, but I do love them very much, and I really need to give them some attention so that they can have their best chance of thriving in their new environment. So the first job for today is going to be to make a mini moss pole for my pilea. This guy is so tall. I don't know why it does this, but it grows up and then it makes all these wonderful leaves on the top, and then in the winter all the leaves fall off. It looks like it died, and then in the spring it grows up some more and puts more leaves on the top, so it just continuously gets taller and taller, but all of the stem is left completely bare. So it's very unstable. I found it yesterday and it was completely horizontal. So yeah, it's definitely time it gets an upgrade in a moss pole. At the moment it's just a stick and a piece of paper twine, so yeah, not really the best for the job. So I'm going to make a new moss pole, give him a little bit of maintenance, and hopefully he will be perfectly happy. Okay, so what I am thinking of doing is I've got some of these dowels just for crafts, which I've had stashed away for years. So I think they'll be good for the job. They might be a little bit short, but it doesn't need to be the whole length of the stem, so only half of it would be enough support, so I think they'll be okay. I've got this nettle yarn, so that's going to be nice and soft so as to not rub on the plant. It's a nice natural colour as well, so it's not going to stick out too much, so I'm going to use that to wrap the moss around the poles. And this is the moss, it's sphagnum moss. I've had this for a while as well, so I think I just need to use it up. It's just taking up space, so I need to use it. And what I'm going to do is soak the moss into some water, get it hydrated, and then wrap it up in around the dowels, and then I hopefully will have a tiny moss pole. I don't think there's really much more to it than that, so yeah, let's give it a go. If you've never worked with nettle yarn before, word of warning, it gets tangled all the time. No matter how you put it away, it will always get itself tangled. And this is the moment I realised I had a job ahead of me. I was frantically trying to find the end and I couldn't, and I was getting so frustrated. In the end, I just had to cut off a piece and start from there because I was not going to sit there for any longer struggling with that yarn. And then all I did to start off with, just tie a knot around the 3 dowels, get that nice and secure, and then I wrapped it around, basically making a loop and then pushing the yarn through the loop, kind of like a macrame sort of thing. And then I just did that a little bit on both ends, so the dowels were nicely adhered to each other. They were all very secure, ready for the next stage. I have attached 3 dowels together with the twine at both ends, so pretty sturdy. And then all I'm just going to do is grab some moss and start working my way down the pole and wrapping it with twine as I go. There really isn't much to it. Because the moss is damp, it helps to hold itself together. So you just get a clump, wrap it around the dowel, and then wrap the twine around and just keep going, basically, until the whole thing's covered. It was quite straightforward, really. But yeah, the moss being wet is definitely very, very useful. I would recommend, if you are going to do it yourself, definitely do it with damp moss. It's a bit fiddly, and with the moss being wet, the yarn was wet, and it was a little bit tricky at points, but overall, it is really not a very difficult thing to actually sit down and do, and doing it outside in the sun with the birds singing, such a lovely mindful activity. It's just really nice to do something with your hands and nature, and I really like moss. It's such a nice texture. The good thing about using the nettle yarn is it's nice and thin, and also it's a pretty similar colour to the moss, so it actually blends in really well, so you can't actually tell that it's been wrapped around. It does just look like a stick of moss, which I think is really nice. It just looks really natural, and just fits the whole vibe. Ta-da! One tiny moss ball ready to go in the pot. I think it'll be pretty perfect, actually. Let's get it in. I gave a little maintenance, clearing out the dead leaves that have been there for months. I felt so bad, but it was really nice to just give a look over this plant. It's put so many babies out. I used to propagate every baby, but then I ended up with too many. I had too many plants, and I simply could not keep up with the number of babies that this put out. And actually, it's really nice having them all at the bottom because it fills out the sticky bit, so it doesn't look so naked. Well done. I am super happy with how that went. Very easy, very straightforward. It's doing the job perfectly already. I think that is a successful little plant project. Here it is in situ with all of the other plants looking absolutely radiant. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be back with more planty, arty updates real soon. See ya!